What if I told you that in 2025, you don't actually need to spend over $1,000 to get a solid smartphone experience because Samsung's budget and mid-range lineup is giving people some of the best value in the Android market right now? With premium phone prices going higher every year, Samsung has made it a mission to pack more useful features into its affordable models. And this month, the spotlight is on devices like the Galaxy A56, Galaxy A36, Galaxy A26, Galaxy A16, and even the Galaxy S24 FE, which can sometimes be grabbed at a great discount. Let's start with the Galaxy A56, Samsung's most polished option in the Galaxy A5X lineup so far. Starting at around $500, it's powered by the Exynos 1480 chipset, which is Samsung's first mid-range processor that comes with an AMD GPU, giving it extra performance for casual gaming. It has a large 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display, with a 120Hz refresh rate and brightness that's been increased by 200 nits compared to the previous model. You can choose between 8GB or 12GB of RAM, along with 128GB or 256GB of internal storage. The camera setup includes a 50-megapixel main lens, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, a 5-megapixel macro, and a 12-megapixel selfie camera on the front. Powering all of this is a 5,000 mAh battery with 45-watt fast charging, and Samsung has promised 6 years of Android OS upgrades, which is a huge plus for software support. If you want something more affordable, the Galaxy A26 is a great underdog starting at about $299.99. It comes with a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display at Full HD Plus resolution with a 120Hz refresh rate, powered by the Exynos 1380 processor paired with 6 or 8GB of RAM and 128 or 256GB of storage. There's also a microSD card slot if you need more storage. It has a triple camera setup featuring a 50-megapixel main sensor, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2-megapixel macro lens. With its 5,000 mAh battery and 25-watt charging, plus 6 years of software support, this phone offers great value. Moving on to the Galaxy A36, priced at $399, it strikes a balance between affordability and performance. Like the A26, it has a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate, the same Exynos 1380 processor, and options for 8 or 12GB of RAM with up to 256GB of storage. However, it skips the microSD slot. The rear camera setup is slightly upgraded with a 50-megapixel main, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 5-megapixel macro sensor, while selfies are handled by a 12-megapixel front camera. Battery life is still handled by a 5,000 mAh unit with 45-watt charging and 6 years of Android OS updates. Then there's the Galaxy A16, which continues to be one of Samsung's best sellers and one of the cheapest 5G options available in the United States, priced at only $199. It features a 6.7-inch display with a 90Hz refresh rate, powered by the Exynos 1330 chipset with RAM options ranging from 4 to 8GB and storage up to 256GB. It has a 50-megapixel main camera, a 5-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2-megapixel macro on the back, while selfies are managed by a 13-megapixel front camera. At this price, plus for years of Android OS upgrades, the Galaxy A16 is hard to beat. Lastly, while the Galaxy S24 FE isn't exactly cheap, it often goes on sale at very good prices, making it an excellent option for those who can stretch their budget. It has a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display with a 120Hz refresh rate, runs on the Exynos 2400E chipset, and comes with up to 512GB of storage. The cameras are near flagship quality, with a 50-megapixel main, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, an 8-megapixel telephoto with 3x zoom, and a 10-megapixel selfie shooter. Its 4,700 mAh battery supports 25-watt fast charging, and the real advantage is the 7 years of Android OS updates, making it a long-lasting investment. So whether you're after the powerful Galaxy A56, the balanced Galaxy A36, the value-packed Galaxy A26, the ultra-cheap Galaxy A16, or even the near-flagship Galaxy S24 FE, Samsung has something for every budget this year. Which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of Samsung's best cheap Android phones in 2025, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on the latest tech.